And we are live. And as when you do a hangout, Michaela, you know this, but for our viewers, maybe not. When they do a hangout from the control session, when it goes live, there's a little ding, and a new square comes up. And every time it gets to that point, almost where it goes on, I start laughing, because we generally have interesting technological challenges. So that light is like, yes, we did it, we're here. And as
I think that's why some people have asked if we're drunk when we start.
well, and that's what it
Yeah,
is.
we do. I was looking through some of our past ones, and every time we start laughing, maybe
Yeah. And for me, and I was really aware of it, and there's a heightened degree of self-awareness right now, which is awesome. And I noticed when it came on, I was getting excited. Yay, we did it. Okay, now we can settle in and just share.
Great to see you. Aloha, Jennifer. How's
Aloha,
it been?
Michaela. And Congo, you've been in the early parts of this forming of today's hangout.
Yes, we are. 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you know what? You're interrupting my scratching session.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, Congo. Well, today has brought the culmination of lots of different little pieces. And you and I, Michaela, we've talked off and on about some of the things that I'm doing away from the hangout with getting clear on my message, on really going deeper to serve my clients at the level that they're asking for. And some of the things that have been coming up have been forcing me to look at my own stuff. Why was I resistant to making the changes that I knew needed to happen? And some of the fabulous
I think
phrases.
many of us are going through that, Jennifer. Me too. I can completely relate to that.
Yeah, there's something going on cosmically within the world, because this is a very, very, very common theme.
And we are all interconnected, and the more we look at that, the more we become aware of it.
Yes, and actually the easier it makes it, because we're not alone, we're not weird, we're not the only ones that are struggling or breaking through or seeing self as self really is. This is going on with everybody, and it has a great equalizer component to it, where we become one in essence. Our journey is different, our struggles are different, our realizations and our breakthroughs are different, and yet there's a common core of getting real. And in that, there is a level of humility of being able to meet the stranger on the street and give them a smile that says, yeah, just hang in there, I get it, you're okay. And it's
Oh,
amazing.
gee, can I stop you right there? That is a really big one, because there have been, I like to listen to NPR, and I like to listen to the economic news. And they're talking about how it looks good on the outside, but in fact, people, if they have money, they're not spending it. They are paying off their past debts of the past pain that they've been through. And we've all been through at some point or another, either now or recently or in the past. And as I was driving around doing my errands today, I noticed how many different old businesses were gone and how this had popped up or moved. And I was thinking that very thing about how important it is for us to stop being so self-absorbed with whatever our pain is, whether it's economic or relationship oriented or whatever, and relax and just look at it for what it is. Recognize what the feeling is. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it foggy? Is it a block inside our heart or our solar plexus, or a knot in our shoulders? And does it and getting away from that self-absorption, when we realize the interconnectedness, how we all go through it, that's where we can celebrate. So I just wanted to add that on to what you just said, how important it is and how more quickly we get to the other side by recognizing it in other people, even if it's a stranger on the street.
Yes, exactly, because then we aren't stuck.
Yeah.
Now, being aware does not give you an automatic ticket out of the swamp. Being able to identify and acknowledge it does not give you an automatic get out of jail free card. What it does give you is a sense of, oh, cool, it's working. The process works. I am making movement because now I'm aware of it. That means that I can start to move through it.
Mm-hmm.
There are always actions that need to be taken once we realize where we are. Once we realize, oh, I'm stuck in this thought pattern, in this belief, in this idea, in this self-incrimination, whatever it is that we realize that we're stuck in, then as we sit with that, instead of judging it, we can forgive ourselves and start asking for, okay, I see this, I understand a certain amount of it. What are my next steps? And allow that brilliance to bubble up and to become clearer through a filter that's been washed clean. Okay, now I see it for what it is. I'm no longer fighting against it. I'm no longer trying not to see it. I see, oh, it's a, I'm, my head is going so fast with all of this great stuff that I've picked up a Velcro sticky thing and I'm playing with it between my fingers underneath below the camera so that I can keep myself on track.
You think it's funny?
And I realized, oh, wait a minute. I lifted my hands up. Now people can see it. Shit. Now I have to tell you what it is. Now I have to come clean. Yes, exactly. This is now saying, now see, even though this is something that I am excited about, that I'm very informed about, there are still things that I do to keep myself balanced and grounded and in the moment so that I have the best to share with those that are watching. So we were talking about, it's not, the awareness of it isn't a get out of jail free card. What it is a new perspective on what you're going through. And that's exactly what you were talking about, Michaela, with the interconnectedness, by realizing that we're all going through stuff, that we're all having these moments of raw awareness of our own fallibilities. We have a mutual point of camaraderie. It doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what your economic status is, what your religion is. It does not matter. If you're a member of the human race, you have X, Y, and Z. As you're going through these, we can meet on that level and say, hey, I get it. I can't fix it, but I can tell you I understand in that I'm going through my own shit. How can I help you?
That very interesting, because just before we started, I was walking toward the computer and I got an image. It reminded, remember when we were kids, or maybe your own kids. I don't have kids, but I did a lot of teaching, and I've been an instructor on all different kinds of levels throughout my life. And there's always a point where a child wants to do something and has maybe even done it herself, but really wants to hold somebody's hand to go through it. Like jumping into the pool, you know, please hold my hand. I don't want to do it alone. And well, you've done it alone before. And yeah, but you know what? I really want to hold your hand. Please let me hold your hand. Or the difference between actually plunging in, whether or not you're going to do it, depends on that hand holding. And sometimes, even though it's something that we've done and we probably can do, there's some sort of a paralysis about taking that action, what you're just talking about. And sometimes we just need to have the hand held. I think, Jennifer, you've referred to it as holding space in
Yes.
the past. It's funny. I can't tell you how many times I have built sales pages, but to do it for myself is very difficult. And I started to complain about it to a friend of mine, and she just said, "Okay, what is it? Where's exactly the problem?" I was like, "Well," oh, and whatever came out of it, and through her being with me on Skype, just being there, I had it done in 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And
That's my open kimono for today.
yeah, and that's awesome. And that's that's what my clients run into. That's what brings them to me, is that they know things have to shift. They
Yes.
know they can no longer avoid this stuff anymore. And they don't want anybody to do it for them. They just need someone to hold their hand. And that is it. That is exactly it, Michaela. That is it in a nutshell. And especially when you start talking about the shadow shit and the darker side of our humanity, it's really scary, no matter how much personal work you've done. Because this stuff goes into deep, dark closets. And you know as well as I do that there are some of the things that we have to admit to ourselves that is hard enough to admit to ourselves, let alone to someone else. But it's that accountability piece with someone that you trust that makes it a million times easier. And it really is astounding.
It's cumulative, and it keeps progressing more deeply. We never finish. As long as this world keeps turning and 7 billion plus people are here, the work is always going to be there because we're interconnected. We're all part of the human condition. Mm-hmm. And when people say, "Oh, I had these wonderful aha," do that again. The data of the memory is still there. Mm-hmm. So, and we learn how to do it. We just learn how to do it on a deeper level. It's like learning your alphabet, and then learning the words, and then learning the sentences, and then learning how to put those sentences into paragraphs, till you're finally a postgraduate student writing these long dissertations. That's just one image of how this kind of work that we do, the self-development, compounds and keeps growing. Mm-hmm. And you agreed, didn't you, by opening your wings like that? It's a miracle.
Well, now, one of the interesting things that came out this last week was a comment about just as, let's see if I can say it right, just as shit is not always brown, the shadow is not always dark. And that came out, and I had to stop and think about that. Well, what exactly does that mean?
Now, you said just as shit is not always brown, not just as shit. Just
as shit is not always brown.
Shit,
the shadow is not always dark. Sometimes our shadow is light. What do I mean by shadow? That's what it got me thinking about. What is shadow then? Shadow is the part that we push aside. Shadow is the part, whatever it is within us that we don't want to see. Whatever it is that we don't want to, that we're afraid to look at. Now, it's really easy to come up with a long list of the shadow that is dark. And I just had a really weird little beep, beep, beep on my computer. Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay.
You're for a moment there, but you're back.
Okay. All right. That's funny because it shocked me and took me off of where I was. So just as it's really easy for me to think about the shadow as dark, really, really simple, because I think of hidden anger, judgment about ourselves, things that we believe in that we don't want to share with other people for fear of being judged, even though it's something we really believe in. the more that we push it aside or try to hide it, the more of a life it grows on its own. The fear of being criticized for having certain beliefs. I can remember, I'm going to take a little side trip, but I can remember when I first realized the chatter in my head and how incredibly judgmental I was. And when I realized that, it was actually devastating. I was down for a couple weeks looking at that because it went against everything that I felt about myself. I thought I was this wonderful person who always had great things to say about others and was never judgmental and was never critical until one day the mind chatter became really loud in a certain situation. And I had to stop and go, holy shit, that's me. I'm saying all of those horrible things about this person. Oh my God, I am judgmental, and with a capital judgmental. And that's the shadow shit, because it was always there, but I hadn't seen it. Once I was able to see it, I was able to decide what I wanted to do with it. And I got to look at what my judgment was around and why did I think it wasn't okay to be judgmental? Where did that come from? And were these things I wanted to hold on to, or was it time to let them go? On the flip side of that, the thing that came to mind was Santa Claus 3 with Jack Frost. He's a horrible character. I mean, his character is a horrible, horrible man. But what happens at the end of it? His heart melts. His shadow had actually been that he was soft inside, and that was not acceptable for whatever reason. His anger got so big that it killed that loving part of his heart, or froze it, as it were. But that was his shadow piece, was that caring heart.
Mm.
So the shadow isn't always the dark stuff. It's whatever it is within us that is our truth, that is our core being, that we have hidden for whatever reason.
Mm.
And I had someone taking a look at my website, and they came back to me and said, I just don't get it. You have this squirrely font that I look at it and I keep expecting fairies to jump out. It's like, oh, okay. She goes, no, you're totally incongruent. That does not make any sense. That is nothing like who you are. Why do you have such a squirrely font? What are you hiding behind? Like, oh, wow.
Wow.
I didn't ever think of it as I was hiding behind something, but as I sat with that, now I don't take everything at face value. Okay. I don't take everything on board. I sat with that. And I looked at it and said, okay, so how much of this is true? And I realized that there was an awful lot of it that was true, because the things that I talk about, they're heavy, they're dark, and they're necessary for forward movement, because it's where every single solitary person on the face of this planet gets stuck.
I have a question for you, Jennifer.
Yes, please.
How do you come to the realization or the awareness or the thought, whatever it is, that something that somebody has said is either true or projection on their part?
That is a beautiful question. I have this place in my head that I have created over the years, and it's like a stage where I will put things that are said to me on this stage, and I will shine a bright light on it. And because it kind of floats, I can actually walk around this, whatever it is that was said to me. And I can take a look at it from all different sorts of angles. And in doing so, it gives me no pun intended on this, but a more well-rounded perspective on what they said. And I will sit and ask myself, okay, is there any truth in this for me? For example, your swirly font on your website is incongruent with your message. And I sat with that, and then I started tearing it apart. Okay, so what is my message? My message is about shadow shit and about deep, dark work. Is it about finding your path? Yes and no. It's more about coming face to face with yourself. It is about diving deep into the stuff that has been niggling at you, that stuff that you just know something's off. Okay, so is that congruent with the light and flowing font? No, not so much. Now, does that mean that it's a block, square, muddy drippings? No, but it's also not this light and airy fairy. And then it got me looking at, okay, so the image is very calm and peaceful and alive. Do my prospective clients reflect that? Are they feeling calm and peaceful and alive? No, they're not. Are they wanting that? Yes, and if I were my prospective client and I saw that picture, it would not draw me in, it would repulse me. Oh, great, this is just going to be another light and fluffy, and light and fluffy doesn't do it for me anymore. So I took what was said and I started pulling it apart and comparing it with what I knew. At that moment, I knew that, yes, that was spot on, and I could take it on board and I can make the changes that I needed to.
You're touching on something very, very important here, Jennifer, because it's not just about self-development and self-awareness, but it moves into who we are professionally as well, and brand messaging. It's about, you know, I've heard so many different things, you know, and this is why so many businesses fail, is because they throw a wide net, or they are attracted to a certain style without taking into consideration what kind of audience they want to attract, or what the specific ideal client is that they want to attract. And
Yes.
Without realizing it, you know, I mean, I may enjoy a particular kind of movie or a particular kind of music, but if my professional audience does not relate to that, why am I even talking about it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's just another example from a different perspective, but this is very important stuff, and I'm so glad you brought it up.
It's what I've been, this is the whole open kimono aspect for me. I've had to be looking at this deeply because I've been told on a couple of occasions that my website and my message are not congruent, that the message is far stronger than the website reflects. And
I never thought about it, but actually I agree now.
I know.
He doesn't agree.
Well, it's really fascinating.
He says, hey, you can fly wherever you want.
I love you, Congo Bird. Yes, and I can. And the people that are literally dying to work with me are missing the fact that I'm there because it's not congruent. They're looking for this, and I've been presenting this. And when I realized that, it's like, oh, okay, that's not cool. This is beyond me. Now it's starting to affect those that I know that I'm here to help. And I have to put my own reasons for, and then, okay, you asked a question. How do I decide whether I keep it or toss it? Well, then the next layer on that, Michaela, is after I realized that there was validity to what she was saying, why was the other stuff there first? Because I was hiding. I had another level of self-realization that I needed to go to, that my message really is about the shadow shit. It comes out in everything that I talk about. I cannot do shallow conversations. I can't do light and fluffy. I mean, I can for about a nanosecond. And then everything in me starts sniffing out where it's out of alignment within the person or within myself. And it's like, can't go there.
Oh, I love it.
What?
So relate.
What?
But you know what? The thing is, I think many of our viewers relate to this too. This is very crucial stuff because we are so much, you know, and I keep going back to the economy because we have been through so much in the last 7 years. With the, you know, the crash and people redefining themselves and the entire global economy, looking at new ways, you know, the emerging millennium way of doing business, that these kind of things are very important. And it's very important for us to be clear that you know, that broad reach is no longer the case for anybody, even for the large companies.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. And as an individual, as a business owner, as you start getting more clear on what your core values are, on who you actually are, not necessarily what you believe in. And there's a big difference. And let me explain, if I may. Truth, to me, is critically important. And truth is not cast in stone. Truth changes. We've talked about this many times. Honesty is one of my core values. Truth and honesty is like being honest in not knowing, even being able to own up to your stuff. That is critically important to me. I hold myself to a very high standard, and I expect those that work with me to be able to do the same eventually, to have the willingness to say, I screwed up. This is what I did. This is what happened. Sorry. I don't know how to fix it. Can you help me? Sure. Let me see what I can do. Or, I'm sorry, I can't. You got yourself in. You need to get yourself out. And this, that, and the other thing may help you. The important thing to me, one of my very, very critically important things, is that people are honest. A belief is more along the lines of, I can't talk like that because it will scare people away. When in reality, my talking like that will draw the right people to me, and it will send those that can't do that flying. Getting clear on what's really important to us is like one of the first steps in being able to have an authentic presence, whether it be in your business or in your life in general. Because until that point comes, the energy's out of alignment, and the message that you're sending is this. And once you start getting closer and closer and having those things to mesh, then you become, your message is like this. It's more in line instead of being disjointed. And that has been a very interesting journey in being able to stand in that place of saying, yeah, this is what I talk about. And those that come to work with me are looking to be able to go deep. And it's not a lot of fluff. You're going to hear boat talk. You're going to hear honesty, and I'm going to expect it in return. And I can guarantee you that on the other side of it, you are going to be in a much better place. You are going to know how to navigate this and this. You're going to know how to self-manage. You are going to know how to identify what's out of alignment within yourself. So I'm going to go back to the question that you asked me as far as how do you identify whether it's something that is yours or if it's a projection. Did I answer that to your satisfaction?
Yes, you did. And I would explore for the audience on that, because the way you described it, you described a visionary process. You shining a light on stage, putting it there so you can walk 300 50, 60, 60. What happened to 10 degrees there? That's my blind spot. 360 degrees.
I'm sorry, Michaela. I have to interrupt you because that was absolutely an unbelievably brilliant Freudian slip. It is that 10 degrees that is our blind spot that will keep us stuck repeating the same damn thing over and over and over again until we can get a new perspective. And that was what that swirly fucking font on my site was. That 10 degrees of that's my blind spot.
And we all have a blind spot. Even a bomb, even an atomic bomb has a blind spot. Everything has a blind spot. But to just to give you a little bit about what my process is that as we move ever toward mindfulness and raising our awareness of whatever we're doing, professionally, personal, we start to see in our mind's eye a visionary process. Writers understand this. Artists understand it. Musicians understand it because they see something in their mind's eye. And for me, it's like a map. Very similar to your swamp map, because I thought of that a few months ago when we were talking about it. And I thought, wow, this is great because this is what I already do within my mind's eye. I will bring the thing in front of me and I will also look at it. I'll look at it from above, from below, from different sides. And maybe from the, almost as though I'm in the middle of it. You're going around it, I'm in the middle, turning around, looking at it like this, as if I'm inside. And things come up, and these are good little awareness exercises that I do that may be of help. And I know that you do it too, Jennifer, within the way you look at something, is looking at it and seeing, is it something that is true? Or is it just a false image? Is it something that is really tight? You know, what kind of essence does it have? I think I said that a little while ago. You know, is it hot? Is it cold? Does it look like a block? Is it foggy? And as we just stay with it and just stay present, that's where the inspiration comes. Mm-hmm. To move forward.
Yes, and if I may, something that came to mind while you were talking, the more of a reaction that we have to what is being said, the more there is for us to look at in it. Because
didn't I say that to you earlier? A few hours ago, I said that. Yes, it's okay. Full disclosure here to everybody. A mutual friend of ours made some comments to me last week that I got very defensive about. I don't think he realized I was defensive about it, but I did. And I was annoyed because I thought, you know, this person really just doesn't know me, and how can he say that kind of stuff? Then I started looking at it, and then I started thinking, well, wait a minute. Why did it annoy me in the first place? So I started looking at it more closely, and a little bit more closely, and I thought, by golly, I am a control freak. By golly, I really do want to take control, and by golly, I often push away help. So it was a good aha moment for me. And when we were reactions, as you just said, I want to just reinforce that, Jennifer, how important it is to become aware that if we can react so strongly to something, you bet by golly there's something behind it.
Yep. And that's why, you know, conflict, I used to hate conflict. Now it's an opportunity for me to learn more about myself, because the more that there is conflict, the more that I get to release. The more that I get to reconcile, the more I get to own. And then sometimes it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it's something I feel very strongly about this, and for whatever reason, my message isn't getting across. So I need to find a way to communicate it in a way that's going to be heard, because I'm not backing down from this one. This one's important to me. Or being able to admit, oh shit, I am a control freak. Okay. And in that acknowledgement, oh, Michaela, you and I are cut from the same piece of cloth, darling.
We
Control
knew
freaks
that
are
from the
us.
second we shook hands.
Yes, and in acknowledging it and owning it, saying, yes, I am a control freak. And there are places where I am releasing control, and there are places where I'm still working on it. There are places where I've totally given it up. The comment or the criticism or the what could be used as try to dig at you to say, you know, you're a control freak. It's like, yeah, and what's your point? Do you want to talk about it some more? That point of conflict is no longer there. It doesn't change it, but you're not hiding it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the great thing about it. And it is a piece of shadow shit. That's the great thing about it, is it loses its control. It loses its ability to send you into a tailspin. It loses the ability to set you off task. It's an acknowledgement. Oh yeah, I know that's in that closet. It's okay. I know it's there. And right now I'm choosing not to do anything with it. You want to help me dig in it? Sure, come on. Yeah, there's a couple other things in here too. But yeah, there's a great big huge control freak over in that corner. Just don't mind him. You know, it's okay. Yeah, then it's no longer scary.
Great. Yeah, it's great. and the way we another way that we can uncover these kind of things, these kind of aha moments, is by looking at our patterns. And the more we look at our patterns, and we can go back in history, you know, is it a pattern that's been over a few days or a few weeks or even a few decades? The biggest laugh I got today was how I have even got a micromanaging pet who tries to he's such a control freak. Right now, he's calling to me, trying to get my attention to pull me away from here.
That is funny. And the rest of us don't hear it.
No. Which is good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Michaela, to be honest with you, I have covered everything that I wanted to.
It's great. It was I think we got a lot. We hit we really hit the focal point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot more information over on my site if people are interested. And if this spoke to you and you're looking for something to help move you out of the shadows, feel free to reach out. There's a contact me form. And I'll be back with you as soon as I get that. And I think that is pretty much it. We will be talking, you and I need to talk about how we want to move forward with the upcoming weeks. And I'm okay with just sending a blurb out later on in this week and letting people know what Thursday's going to hold for next week. I know, yeah, lots of stuff shifting and changing over here too.
Yeah, you know, it's springtime, a lot of changes. What would be really nice is to make an intermediary kind of a hangout where we're taking a pulse, where we're going, and where we're at right now.
Yeah, and asking viewers where are they and what are they wanting?
Yes. So please ask us some questions. And we haven't done it's been a few months since we've done a question answer session.
That's true. It has been. Okay, so let's sit with that for a little bit and see what comes up in the next day or two.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Much mahalo. It's been awesome as always. Thank you everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed, and we hope you got a few aha moments of your own.
Yes. Thank you, Michaela. It has been a pleasure.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Congo Bird.
He just blew you a kiss.
Thank you, viewers. As always, your presence is really greatly appreciated. And please give us feedback, and we'd love to hear from you. Leave them in the comments, or you can send either Michaela or myself a message. And we look forward to talking with you soon.
Great.
All right.
Aloha.
See you later, everybody. Bye.